Hello, my wonderful, amazing artists. It's me, Miss Abby, your art teacher. And today we are traveling underwater for art class. Today we're getting inspired by the colorful tropical fish of the coral reef and specifically looking at the patterns on a lot of tropical fish. For example, clownfish have a pattern of orange, black, white, black, orange, so on and so forth. A lot of tropical fish have beautiful patterns. And here's some examples I have here of ones I've drawn. So today we're going to pretend our piece of paper is an aquarium and fill it with all kinds of fish. Now you can choose the drawing supplies you use. You definitely need a paper and a pencil so you can erase, and then you can pick the kind of tools you want to use. I'm going to use crayons and oil pastels and a little watercolor pencil today to show you how you can use your watercolor pencils by smudging them out with a wet brush. But you can choose if you like using markers, let's use markers. If you like pen, use a pen. Okay, so I know I said that we're using a pencil so that we can erase, but so that you guys can see, I am going to use a blue marker. That way it's easier to see. And fish, they come in lots of different shapes and sizes. This one's like an oval shape, this angelfish inspired one. The porcupine fish is a big old circle. A good starting point, if you're not sure how to draw the shape of a fish, is to do kind of a long, skinny, like a football shape. I'm going to add all my fishy details. And so we're adding an eye so the fish can see. And we got a little fishy smile, some gills to help them breathe, a triangle fin, a triangle tail, another triangle fin, and then I'm going to give him 2 triangle fins on the bottom. But this you can personalize. Choose your own adventure. Fish look all a little bit different. Sharks have that big one at the top. Ta-da! Here's my fish so far. Okay, so I drew out some of my fishies. Now I am going to color in the fish and some of the background with our oil pastels and our crayons. And I want to show you something cool that you can do with your crayons, and that's that you can layer and blend crayon into each other. See? They are still layering into each other. You can even blend, like I'm going to lightly color in a crayon with red, and then I'm going to overlap the orange over it to create kind of a gradient effect. And I think this looks awesome to have it faded into each other, almost like a real betta fish. I think I would call this a firefish if I were to name it. So see, you can take your crayons to the next level. Now I'm going to color in the rest with oil pastels and crayons, but I'm going to do the background with my watercolor pencil. Okay, so I colored in all of my details in crayon and oil pastel, and now I'm going to color in using my watercolor pencils. And we know watercolor pencils from regular old colored pencils because they have the word watercolor, as we can read, and there's this picture of a paintbrush on it. These are from the art kit that we all got, but I also have some of these. They also have a paintbrush, but they're by a different brand. So I'm going to pull out these, and I'm going to do the water because oil, pastel, and crayon are good at being dark and bright and vibrant. And the watercolor pencils and colored pencils are good at being very light and soft. And I want that because I want these vibrant fish to shine through up against the very light, soft water, and it'll look like the water is going far in the background and the fish are close up to the front of the picture. And first I'm going to color in with my watercolor pencils. I'm going to layer them, and I also have a cup of water. This is just plain sink water. It's about this high, resting on a paper towel, of course, and I have a paintbrush to blend everything out. Okay, so I have my cup of plain water. I have my brush. I have it resting on a paper towel, and I have my pencils. And remember, with watercolor pencil, you can kind of do a scratchy little mark, and you can layer. And then, if you want to spread and blend, you can take your watercolor paintbrush, and I like to just touch the bottom. We're not doing any of this. We're not doing this. We are wiping our drips on the paper towel. That way nothing spills. And then you can spread out the watercolor pencil color, and notice my brush feels like it's bumping into something. It feels funny when it's running over both the oil pastel and the wax of my Crayola crayons, and that is because the Crayola crayons and the oil pastels both block the oil pastel from being absorbed. They don't really blend into each other at all. So I'm going to continue with that, working very carefully. And ooh, I want to make this darker, so I'm going to go right on the wet area and see how fun and dark that is. You can do that too. You can even dip your pencil in the paintbrush very carefully if you want a super dark. Ta-da! Here is my doodle of a little coral reef. And I had a lot of fun making this. It's kind of like if you remember back to when we've done cityscapes and landscapes, but this is an underwater scape. Isn't that fun? And I had a lot of fun picking out my really bright, vibrant colors of all of my coral reef fish. I hope you give this a try. Have fun getting inspired by the colors of the coral reef. Bye. Have fun making art.